Welcome back to the Seattle Center Coliseum, where tonight the Sonics host the champion Celtics. Seattle SuperSonics basketball is brought to you by Pacific Northwest Bell. Reach out and touch someone today. By Olympia Beer, featuring pure artesian brewing water, brought to you by the Artesians. Seattle SuperSonics basketball is brought to you by Pacific Northwest Bell. Reach out and touch someone today. By Olympia Beer, featuring pure artesian brewing water, brought to you by the Artesians. By Nordstrom, find yourself at Nordstrom. You'll like what you find. And by Rainier Bank, the bank that's involved in the life, people, and business of Washington State. Once again, this is Don Poyer along with Dave Harshman, assistant coach, head scout, as we see the starting lineups for the Boston Celtics. Nate Archibald, number 7, will be starting at one of the guards. In the pivot, Robert Parish, the big man. Jim Brand at number 41 will be at one of the guards at the forward. There he is, Larry Bird, and also Cedric Maxwell. Head coach Bill Fitch. And for the Sonics, same lineup as they used the other night against Phoenix. Seattle now 1-1. At the small forward will be Wally Walker. At the other forward, the strong forward, Lonnie Shelton. And at the pivot, Jack Sikma. Jack averaging 16 points a game in 2 contests here in the preseason. Bill Hanslick will be at the big guard, averaging 7 points a game. That's about what he was doing last year. And Gus Williams, averaging 21 points a ball game going into this, the 3rd contest of the exhibition season. A little something special in this ball game, David, coming in with the world champions and all at Boston and here in the old Coliseum. A lot of memories tied into this. Kind of a special evening.
Well, I think it's a little more excitement in the air tonight, and we've got to go out and establish that we can play and we can beat Boston, and I believe we can. You know, I consider Boston the team to beat if you're going to win it all. I consider Los Angeles, because they were the team who won it 2 years ago. I think they're the team to beat, you know, in our division. And if we can play well against both these clubs and we can establish ourselves as a good, solid basketball team, tonight's game and the other 2 this weekend are really going to improve us.
Officials tonight, the man throwing the ball up and letting Lonnie Shelton see it, that is number 16, Wally Rooney. And the other official along the baseline, Bill Simmons. He was one of the officials during the Laker game Sunday night. And we're just about ready to play basketball. Gus Williams against Nate Archibald. I'm excited to see that. It's always a good matchup, as Lenny was saying, speed against speed.
Well, I'm surprised to see Brandon starting tonight, and I think maybe they're going to give him a good look tonight. But Charles Bradley started the other night, the rookie guard, first-round draft choice out of Wyoming, and did a very good job, as did Tracy Jackson.
Tip is up, and Bill Hanslick comes up with it quickly. Down court, tries to push it down. They look for Gus Williams. Finally over to Sikma as they set it up. Just underway. 11:52 first quarter. No score. Nice to have you along. Sonics Super Channel. Sikma goes down the lane, tries to land it off, and look who was in the way. Larry Bird. Hanslick drives the lane.
Great move by Billy. That's what we've got to have. Boston puts a lot of pressure on you, and you've got to put the ball on the floor and create some situations.
Billy averaging 7 points going into tonight's contest. Seattle 1-1. Boston 2-1. They beat Philadelphia. They were defeated by Los Angeles. It'll be Boston ball. They were defeated by Los Angeles. They also defeated the Knicks, or beat the Knicks, beat Philadelphia, lost to Los Angeles Monday night after Seattle played the Lakers. Maxwell with it to Robert Parish. Williams the rebound. Here come the Sonics, trying to push it up court quickly. Lay it off over to Sikma.
That's what we've got to have right there. Jack got out and ran the break, and Gus got him the ball.
And here comes Boston right back. Seattle's got to remember that they can do it just as well as Seattle. Parish with it. Bird trying to get a pick. Parish bangs it off the glass, back of the iron, board. Here comes Bird. The follow away, no good. Loose ball. Maxwell inside, tries to muscle it up over Shelton. In and out, still got a lid on it. Shelton comes up with the rebound. Here comes Hanslick. 3-on-2, lays it over to Walker. Hanslick. Williams for the foul line.
We got to get back because here they come right away again, and they'll really push the ball at us, and we gave them way too many second opportunities last time.
Exactly, and Seattle came back much better that time. Brandon with it. Tries to drive the baseline. Got a foul on Bill Hanslick. His first one, and the first team foul of tonight's contest. 6-0. Seattle on top with 10:27 remaining. First quarter.
Here he goes baseline, and Billy's got a hand on him, and there's the foul.
Back to live action. We've got an offensive charge.
Got an offensive foul on Cedric Maxwell, and he hooked Lonnie going to the basket, and it was an obvious offensive foul.
Little pressure by Boston in the backcourt. They'll do that. They've done that for years and years. Shelton against Bird. Hanslick goes through, posting his Walker over to Sikma, knocked out of bounds by Parish. Robert Parish shot 54%. In fact, 54.8 or .4 last year. What a year he had with Boston after coming from Golden State. Sikma, Shelton. Over to Walker, looking inside. Shot clock down to 5. Partially blocked. Wally comes up with a steal from the foul line.
Great play by Wally after he tried to force his shot because of the clock. Here they come right back at us.
Boy, Brandon right there. Their transition game is one of the best in basketball. Bird, he'll take it himself. Sikma the rebound. Here comes Gus. Against Archibald. Loses control, still has it. Look at the composure. No foul. Hanslick. Why not? Charging. Second foul on Bill.
Gives you an idea how smart Larry Bird is. You know, he saw Bill coming and he kind of egged him on and threw the charge.
Just planted himself and quickly got out of bounds so he could get the ball up quickly as well. Maxwell with it. Tiny. Oh, look at this.
One more step, he would have been back in New York.
Seattle with an 8-0 lead. Walker inside with a jump hook.
Nice job. Good ball movement from Hanslick to Gus in the corner.
This is some of the best basketball Seattle's put together. 9:08 remaining in the first quarter. Seattle up 10-zip. Stay with us. Much more basketball coming. Dave, are you surprised that Jim Brandon started at guard?
Well, I really was, but, you know, this is my first opportunity to see him, and I like the things he can do. He's a big, strong kid, and it looks to me like they're trying to post him inside, and we've already got 2 fouls on Bill Hanslick because of that. What Boston did against Los Angeles is they tried posting their forwards, which they all do very, very well, and so they've kind of switched their philosophy for our game, at least, you know, in the first part.
Keep an eye on number 41, Jim Brandon. He's still in the ball game. He was in 1977 and 78 the Northwest Junior College Conference Player of the Year at Walla Walla Community College. He played in the Northwest.
I had no idea.
Yeah, then went down to St. Peter's, and he has quite a history. We'll talk about it a little later on. Meanwhile, Seattle's enjoying a 10-0 lead. 9 minutes remaining in the first quarter. We go to Maxwell.
Here they come with the forward. See, they posted Bird. There's the back door. We've got to get there and get some help.
Tiny gets the first bucket for him. And here comes Gus. First bucket for Boston, but
great play by Jack. Great play. Got the ball out, and we got the transition down the floor.
Gus talked about that in the newspapers today, saying he can finally start releasing now when he sees that the people are in position for the rebounds. And he did just that, and Jack found him. Looking inside, Maxwell. Double team, Parish. He gets his first 2.
That makes it tough right there because the forward, when they hit the other forward, he comes hard across the lane.
Tiny's putting pretty good pressure on Gus so far. Boy, Gus had the lane, or excuse me, Lonnie had the lane and took it anyway.
That's what we've got to do because I don't feel Boston checks our forwards very well when you put the ball on the floor, and you've got to take advantage of your quickness.
So far, Wally Walker leading with 4 points for Seattle. Gus Williams with 4, and they enjoy a 10-point lead, 14-4. Archibald, look at this, against Sikma. He falls off with rebound position. No good. Out of bounds. And they'll give it to Boston.
See, there's Bird. Larry Bird is always around the basketball. The guy is not a great jumper, but he has such a great nose for the ball and constantly watches the ball and moves.
And also led the team in steals last year. No surprise there at all. There's Brandon with the ball, number 41. Played at Walla Walla Community College. Small world. Maxwell inside, runs into Shelton. Wally tries to get it, goes out of bounds. Seattle ball.
We got a break right there because, again, Maxwell beat Lonnie to the ball. And you've got to play good off-the-ball defense and beat your man to the ball.
3 turnovers for Boston to Seattle's 0. 7:40, first quarter. Down to the baseline, Shelton going against Bird. Takes the jumper.
You know, Lonnie's been a little concerned because he's just transferred from hard contacts to soft contacts, and he's having an adjustment, and I'm glad to see him hit a couple shots.
Bird with it. Rattles Sikma. Good position. Looks for the outlet. Hanslick. Good decision there. Sikma with it. Over to Shelton. Gus posting against Tiny. Got a little shove from behind by Tiny Archibald.
That looked like that was kind of like an ant posting a gnat.
Mosquito after a caterpillar or something like that. Sikma posting against Parish. Got to work with Wally, and Robert comes up with a, well, can he do it? Yes. Got it over to Tiny before he fell out of bounds. Lenny Wilkins watching from the sidelines. Archibald goes all the way home, can't buy the bucket. Good job by Lonnie batting it out, but a man by the name of Bird came up with it. He forces the jumper and draws the foul.
There again, Larry is around the ball, and he's a great off-balance shooter, and he's going to get the shot off. And the thing we're going to try to do is make him take the shot from the outside. I think that's very, very important because I think he really hurts you more by putting the ball down.
I think many people at home may not realize that when you were assistant coach at Michigan State, you helped lead the Spartans against that very man in the national championship. Bird of Indiana State, as Bird misses his first foul shot.
Well, I don't know if it's right to say he single-handedly carried him, but he almost did because, you know, he did not have nearly the supporting cast that we did.
Cupboard's empty for Bird. 16-4, Seattle on top. 6.5 minutes now, first quarter. The heavy pressure by Brandon. They post it inside. Walker. Traveling.
Wally did something that's very natural right there. He got the ball and he saw defense coming to give help from the weak side, and he shuffled his feet, and they called it for traveling.
Maxwell with it. Both teams staying with their starters so far. Archibald down on the right side. Parish. Watch everybody break now. Takes the fall away himself.
That's his shot right there, the fall away jump shot.
Seattle still up by 10. Just trying to penetrate. And he got a foul. Looks like it'll be on Archibald. His second foul.
Don, Robert Parish really has a tough shot to block because he's got extraordinarily long arms, and he shoots the ball with his arms extended fully over his head.
So they talk about Sikma's shot being tough to block. Maybe we'll see it here. Nope, they go inside to Walker. Shelton almost gets the tip. Loose ball. Maxwell. Archibald. Parish. Oh boy, he's starting to warm up. Yeah, that fall away, much like Sikma, is so hard to, like you say, Dave, hard to block because he is falling away. Plus, you got the long 7-foot arms. 16-8.
Great
Walker.
Great backdoor situation. Maxwell was overplaying Wally, and we went to Lonnie and backdoor. Here they come right back.
Bird will take the shot over Shelton. Rebound Brandon. And there is a foul on the play. Foul on Jack Sikma. His first tonight.
It's an unfortunate foul to happen to Jack also because, see, Brandon's a guard, and he's a big guard, but Bill's a big guard, and Bill didn't box him off the boards right then, and we have to do that. Everybody's got to do their job.
Especially Boston, because sometimes it seems like they have 10 people out there the way that everybody
Boston is so smart. They constantly are moving and get a hand on the ball, and the ball goes to the board. In most cases, if you turn to box a guy out and make contact, they're going to quit, but Boston's guys don't quit. They keep going to the ball.
And you see a little more pressure by the Boston guards. And Gus will walk it up court. Archibald healthy this year. Oh, opened up the side for him. Takes the jumper instead of the drive. Loose ball foul. And it's on Wally Walker. His first team foul, or first foul, and 4th team foul. His first foul. Clapping provided by Dave Harshman. I tell you, these coaches, you get them down here in the broadcasting, they're still coaching.
It's tough.
Yeah. Brandon with it. Archibald simply goes up next to Sikma and says, I dare you.
Well, Tiny was open because Gus went to double the ball and left him open, and they found him, and he got the easy basket.
Boston with a little something going now. They've come up to a 7-point deficit against Seattle. Cross court to Sikma against Parish.
That was a very important basket at this stage right now, Don, because they had a string of 3 or 4, and we needed to break that string to get some momentum back.
Tough defense by Hansley. Did he walk? Lenny Wilkins thinks so. I do too.
I'll tell you one thing. When you take 3 steps and don't put the ball on the floor, in most cases it is traveling.
Brandon with his 3rd point of the night. Walker, 20-13, 4:15 remaining, first quarter. Hansley puts it up off the glass. Matching basket for basket right now. Talking with Casey Jones before the game, assistant coach for Boston. Philosophy of theirs is much like Seattle's as far as preseason games. They want to win, but they want to use a lot of combinations. Right now, both teams want to win a lot because they're staying with the regular people. Good battle between Sikma and Parish. It'll be short. There's Bird.
Great job by Jack of putting pressure on the big man, Parish, making him take the bad shot, but then we give him the rebound basket, and we cannot do that.
Bird's first bucket of the night. Hard to believe he's been so involved. Lonnie Shelton beats his man and gets fouled on the shot. Fouled by Brandon.
Great cut by Lonnie.
Wouldn't it though? How many people his size can move that quickly?
Well, that's the thing, you know. Lonnie's a power forward, but anybody, we'll get to see it here. Here's the pass. We're running our double where we go down and set a double screen with the guard and the center, and Lonnie makes what we call a shuffle cut off, and he was open.
23-15. Seattle now up by 8. Make it 9. All the starters still in. Well, there's some good intensity in this basketball game. I don't care if it is exhibition play. Trying to double up. Here comes Brandon down the key. Lays it up with the right hand and gets it. Fouled in the process by Bill Hansley. It's his 3rd foul already tonight.
And Bill didn't get any help. He got beat down the lane. But when you get beat, you've got to yell help. And Wally was not in the help position because he's so preoccupied with Larry Bird and trying to do a good job on Bird that he was in no position to help.
And again, that's the key with his team. That shot no good by Brandon. He has missed 2 out of 3 now. Bird with it, however. Parish. Really sky. Bird. What are you going to do against Shelton? Oh, great play by Hansley. Good steal. Shelton. Under the baseline. Wally can't hold on. Wally Walker.
You know who caused the turnover? Mr. Bird again.
Yep.
He made the hesitation fake to Lonnie, made Lonnie commit with the pass, and it wasn't a very good pass. 2nd
turnover for Seattle in tonight's game. Leading by 7. Vinnie Johnson getting ready to come in for the Sonics. One of the guards. Archibald. You can hear Lenny in the background yelling to Gus on defense. Turn around by Parish. We've seen it. Can't get this one. Here comes Gus. Williams going against him. Ball knocked loose. Wally follows.
Looks to me like they had their hand in the cylinder.
Oh, all over the place. If not a foul beforehand. Archibald. Boy, he's getting physical out there now. And they call this on Boston.
You hate to be maybe too pro your own club, but if you want to play right here, it's nice to get this call because I think they missed a few earlier. And Wally came over in positioned himself before Tiny took off, and he draws a charge.
Timeout right now. We'll hold it here. 2:25 remaining in the first quarter. Seattle enjoying a 7-point lead, 24-17. This year, as a part of the International Year of Disabled Persons, the Sonics will play an inter-squad game at the University of Puget Sound Fieldhouse this coming Tuesday, October 20th. All proceeds will go to benefit the Tacoma Area Coalition of Individually Disabled Persons. Tickets are on sale now at the UPS Fieldhouse, the Tacoma News Tribune offices, and the Tacoma Bon Marché Ticket Center. That's Tuesday, October 20th at the UPS Fieldhouse, starting at 7:30. Some of the scoring so far: Robert Parish with 6 points. All three, well, 3 were buckets, 3 from the field. Archibald with 4. Brandon starting at guard at 5.
I don't know if we can pick it up, but I just heard Lenny say something that we're constantly telling our guys is don't reach on defense. And I don't know if the basic person really understands, because a lot of the players don't understand, that defense is played with the feet. And feet and the hands, but it's got to be feet first, hands second. And you can never extend yourself past the body of the man you're trying to check. When you do that, you're going to be called for a foul every time.
Your father has a great drill that he uses. Remember, he would have a man run around the key, and the defender would have to hold his hands behind his back and then just work with the feet, concentrate on
foot
keeping the feet in front of him.
And that's a lot of people use that, and that's important.
It's a good drill. Vinnie Johnson coming in along with James Bailey, replacing Wally Walker and Bill Hanslick. 24-17, Seattle. They've led throughout the game tonight.
A little full court pressure there, and JB came up to help relieve it, and that's important.
Boston with their starters still in there. Look at this.
One thing in the game against Los Angeles the other night, especially in the first half, I think 8 of the Boston players played 12 minutes. 1 played 14, the other played 10. So they really played a lot of people at the same amount of time.
Williams takes the jumper. One of the things Seattle missed so badly last year. They try to lob it over to Maxwell. Nobody touches it. Seattle ball. Turnover.
And an important basket by Gus, because Gus has got to establish himself from the outside as well as being able to take it to the hole.
Can't pressure him quite as much outside, or if they do, he can go around. 5 turnovers for Boston, by the way. Down to 1:50, first quarter. Knocked out of the L. Nice save by Brandon. Beautiful play
by Brandon, because Vinny made a good rub cut, rubbed his man off, and Brandon recovered and made the block.
Brandon's trying to earn himself a spot on the 12-man roster. Archibald with a lob. Nobody there. Bird lays it off to Bird, but he can't get the cripple. Quickly, here comes Gus against Brandon. Oh, he forced it.
Oh, I cannot believe that call.
Called it charging.
Let's watch this. At no time did Brandon ever established position. Yeah. First of all, he grabs Gus right there.
Look at that.
And you'll see he's never in position. He's moving the whole way. The whole way.
That's ridiculous. When I said force it, I meant he was trying to force either the shot or the pass, but in that case it was
I don't know if we have the
fouled.
beginning of the break, but something Jack Sikma did is very important against a great rebounding club like this. He could not get the ball with 1 or 2 hands, so he tipped it out.
And as you can see, Lenny Wilkins slapped with a technical foul. Oh, I can't blame Lenny on that one. Anybody at home knows you've got to be established.
I think he made a very good statement right then, too, so that doesn't make up for the call.
That's right.
And obviously, the officials have the toughest job. Basketball is the toughest game to officiate.
Jump ball.
Great play by Vinnie Johnson.
Wasn't that, though? He consciously tried to keep his body away from the shooter.
Here it is. Vinnie got beat, and he's got 2 hands directly on top of the ball. You know, Vinnie's got about a 38-inch sleeve and a great leap.
Maxwell at the right place at the right time. Yeah, very few guards can leap like him. He was Seattle's leading offensive rebounder last year. That tells you something. Maxwell inside over Bailey and comes up with 2.
Tough shot, and there again it goes back to what we were trying to do, is not let them post up deep, and they hurt us.
Down to 1 minute remaining in the first quarter. Seattle up by 6, 26-20. Bailey, Shelton, as he comes around again, can't hold on to the ball. Run that play a couple of times now as far as Lonnie coming around the post, getting the pick, and it's working. He's open.
Right, that's our double, and he is open.
Under 1 minute, 45 seconds, first quarter. Brandon to Parish. He's up with the jumper. Unorthodox, but it's effective.
Very good move by Robert Parish, and Jack had him perfectly played because we want to take away his right hand, and he went to the right side, and he threw up a tough shot, and it went in.
Looked like he was coming around with the hook and then comes up with a jumper all of a sudden, too. 26-22, 35 seconds now, first quarter. BJ down to the baseline, picks out a couple of Celtics, over to Sikma. And they call it on Parish inside. I'm hesitating now. First foul on him. .25 seconds. Shot clock at 20, 19. Gus with a turnaround. Bailey trying to crash the board.
Rebound by JB.
Loose ball foul on Boston.
The important thing in an offensive rebound is to get even with the defensive player. If you can get at least even with him, then you've got a chance for the ball. But you've got to be constantly moving, and you've got to have an eye for the ball.
Robert Parish now with 2 fouls. Second team foul. Boy, that was great movement by Bailey, coming in through there, anticipating. James. (27-22). Down to 16 seconds. Shot clock dead, of course. Nate, they go inside. Loose ball. Vinny can't get it. Lonnie Shelton, right place. 8 seconds, 7 seconds. Gus.
Great over-the-top pass from Lonnie, and a very, very big basket for us at the end of the quarter.
There's the horn. Doesn't count. Boy, Rudy had his hand up saying if it would have dropped, it would have been good. Well, there's the score after the first quarter.
The first bad call tonight.
Seattle leading by the score of 29-22. Stay with us. 3 more quarters to come. Boston with 5 new people in there. Eric Fernston will be in there, probably as center. I would say the guards, Gerald Henderson, Charles Bradley. Into the pivot, excuse me, Rick Robey is here. He'll be at center. At the forwards be Kevin McHale and Eric Fernston. Charles Bradley, that brother of Dud Bradley, who played for Phoenix. We saw him Tuesday night. Played pretty good basketball, too.
They have what I would call their meat squad in, and not because they're bad players, but I think, you know, another NFL lineup.
Danny Vrain's also checking in for Seattle at one of the forwards. In for Lonnie Shelton. Gus and BJ still at the guard. Gerald trying to do something against Gus. Got him up in the air. Bradley, he walked. Laid it over the right side. McHale looks at his feet, then shoots and scores.
I played against McHale for 3 years when I was in the Big Ten, and I'll tell you, he's a quality player.
29-24. Seattle with that 5-point lead. We're just underway in the second quarter. They look for the back door, not there. Henderson last touched that ball. Interesting. We had a lot of strong rumors that Eric Fernston had been cut from the team. But evidently, he's still on the roster.
Well, he's still here, and I think one of the big things is because he is a veteran, he gives him some experience.
Robey the rebound. Gerald Henderson coming up court. Out on top, Henderson. Thinking shooting. Robey. Boy, he's a big man. Henderson. Nice shot from outside.
Henderson is a good shooter, and yet coming into tonight, he'd only been 4 for 21 in the first 3 games.
Started 10 games last year. Foul there on Bradley. You could see it as he put up the jumper. Vinny did. And the foul on Bradley. First one tonight.
You look at it here. Here goes Vinny, and well, he got him in the arm. He just grabbed him in the arm.
Good job by Vinny, simply trying to keep the ball active.
Charles Bradley, you know, is 6'5", but 220 pounds, and I would say that's rather robust for a guard.
His inside game is much stronger than his outside game, I understand, and which is a little odd for a guard, but that's what he does. Loose ball foul.
Well, when Charles was at Wyoming, he played both forward and guard, and I think he's probably a little more comfortable at the forward position.
That last foul on Bailey. McHale down on the other end of the court. Tip and score by Bradley. Now
there's a great play because he goes to the board extremely
29-28. Boston just creeping up until now. They only trailed by 1. They were down by as much as 10 in the first quarter. Sikma trying to go down the lane, trying to force it inside the brains, goes out of bounds, and it'll be Boston ball. We got to take what they give us. Turnover for Seattle.
Jack had the hook shot rolling into the middle right there and tried to force it inside.
It's 5 turnovers for Seattle. Henderson. Donaldson getting ready to come in. James Donaldson for Seattle. Robey trying to go against Sikma. Throws up the left hand and gets the 2. Oh, my goodness, what a shot. Not your high percentage shot. Gus Williams. He comes up short. Quickly down to Henderson. 2-on-2. Bradley on the other side. He holds up. Now takes the jumper himself. Sikma looks down court. And VJ will set it up for the Sonics.
We're not getting the transition game like we did in the first quarter, and that's what happened against the Lakers.
Boston with the lead, 30-29. First time they've led all night. Bailey inside. Oh my goodness, they're going to call it.
Very inconsistent on the loose ball foul because, you know, I thought Charles Bradley was over our back down here. Let's see it here. I'm sure there's some contact.
I thought Bailey had the position. Right there. Over the back.
I believe the reason they called the play there is Boston went with 2 hands, McHale went with 2 hands, Bailey went with 1. If you go with 1 hand, chances are you're going to get called for foul.
First quarter, Seattle shot 59% from the floor. Boston 34%. But now Boston has the lead by 1, 30-29. Anderson against McHale. Bailey gets his hand in there, knocks the ball loose. McHale, shot. James Bailey wrestles McHale. McHale puts it up. Brains with a rebound. Fred Brown just into the ball game. Gets the outlet. Takes the jump for himself from the baseline.
Here they go, transition, a long pass, McHale over the top. We can't give that up.
They do it extremely well. Lenny is steaming. He doesn't like to see that. That's your game. That's Seattle's game, and they don't like being beaten back.
Well, that's the thing. When the guard takes the ball to the corner to shoot the jump shot, the other guard's responsibility is to get back. As soon as he sees the ball being shot, he should be sprinting to midcourt. And I think Vinny got caught inside right then. And that hurts. You cannot make a great play and then give up a cheap one at the other end and expect to beat people like Boston.
The Sonics will be battling the Phoenix Suns in their first game of the regular season. That'll be Saturday night, Halloween night, October 31st. Prior to the start, Mayor Royer will be on hand to help the Sonics celebrate the start of their 15th season. It's hard to believe that 15 have already gone by. Must admit, coming in here to the Coliseum tonight, so many memories pop up, like Dennis Johnson in that 79-80 season when he made that critical 3-point shot. Seconds remaining as time went out to beat the Milwaukee Bucks. You think of the Bob Rules, the Jim Foxes, the Dick Snyders, the people that have played in this arena, this Coliseum.
Spencer Haywood wasn't a bad one.
Spencer Haywood, yeah.
There was a guy named Wilkins here, I think, that played too, and he wasn't a bad player.
I heard he was a, you know, if you can't play, coach.
I heard an interview today with Bill Fitch, and I think the interviewer said, well, I understand that you and Lenny have discussed some things. He said, yeah, we discussed, you know, our teams and everything, and the fact that he never could go to his left.
Robert Parish, still the leader for Boston for either team. He has 8 points, and Gus Williams with 8 for the Sonics. So Boston with playing 5 fresh people coming in at the beginning of the second quarter. Seattle ball, 32-31, Boston leading. First quarter was all Seattle. Second quarter, Boston warming up, playing pretty good ball. BJ against Bradley. Brains goes through, establishes against Bernstein. Fred, they reverse it, inside to James. Fast pace, quickly over to Fred. Top of the circle.
Excellent job by James Donaldson of seeing the man coming back to Dublin, kicking it back out to Fred for the jump shot.
That's one of the most critical passes for a center, is to be able to feel that pressure and get it out for the jumper. 33-32, Seattle back in the lead again. Robey thinking shoot. Bradley. Fred Brown. That went right into his cookie jar. Vinny takes the jumper from the foul line.
Well, they caught Charles Bradley. He just almost threw Fred Brown off the basketball floor. But one thing, Freddie does a good job of when he gets contact of being an actor, and you've got to do that sometimes.
Foul on Bradley. 8:25, second quarter. Seattle up by 1. Donaldson. It's the foul on McHale, Kevin McHale, inside. His first foul, then James will go to the foul line. 13 foul.
Well, McHale was fronting him, and we got the over-the-top pass to him, the lob, and he went up good and strong.
That's what I like to see this year, is Donaldson going with authority. Have that basketball over his head with 2 hands. Anything in its way is in jeopardy.
Before the game, I was in talking with him. We were sitting on the training table, and I just started giving him light punches in the shoulder, and he looked at me, and he kind of smiled, and he said, what are you doing? I said, I'm trying to toughen you up for the game tonight. I just didn't want to do it too much where he'd knock me off the table.
He probably thought it was a mosquito on his shoulder. Bradley against Vinny, gets position on the baseline. Nice jumper by Charles Bradley out of Wyoming. Honorable mention, All-American. Fred sets it up. Boston this time on top, trading baskets with the Sonics.
A lot of pressure by the Celtic guards.
Again, this is another foul on Bradley. I think it looks to me like a good way to beat him is go with quickness, try to force him to reach in.
The thing that we're doing.
Third foul now on Bradley. Back to live action. Brown on the baseline, short. Bernstein the rebound. Quickly, here we come. Henderson to the foul line, doesn't stop, lays it off. Inside, lots of company. Robey puts it up. You can hear Rudy saying, loose ball foul. That's on Boston.
Don, I was going to say that Boston trying to put a lot of pressure on us, especially when we pick the ball up in our front court. They really get up into us. And if we get good ball movement and then put the ball on the floor, we can go by them. And that it creates an advantage for us. And we either pull up and take the shot or we dump it to somebody who's open.
And again, that's another way to take advantage of Bradley, possibly?
Yes.
He doesn't look that quick to me. Strong, but not terribly quick. Donaldson on the foul line. James lifted a lot of weights last summer. Believe it or not, this is only his 8th year of competitive basketball. Started when he was a senior in high school. That was his first ever. Tie ball game, 7.5 minutes, second quarter. 34 apiece. Robey. Henderson splits off him. Brown getting picked. Henderson for the foul line. Donaldson, good rebound. Looks down court over to VJ. Fred thinking the shot. Jump ball with one hand, huh? Look at Fred. Fred shaking his hand.
Bradley has here he goes. Here's Fred going up with a shot, and he got it right down. The one thing as an official, though, in my mind, is anytime a guy comes down in the chopping movement, it's got to be a questionable call, even if he does get his hand on the ball.
Now they're calling a foul on Fred on the jump ball and pushing on. Wait till the crowd hears that and understands it. First foul on Fred. Well, they got a lot of sirloin on that last play.
I was going to make a comment on James Donaldson. If you look at him, maybe he looks a little out of proportion and his upper body bigger than his legs. But he he squatted 650 pounds this summer.
Many football players can't do that. Robey gets his own rebound, fights for it, knocked away by Donaldson. Gets the block shot, but it goes out of bounds.
There's another fine example of how hard Boston goes to the offensive boards. We've got to check them off.
Good hustle by Fred as the ball goes out again. I love watching Seattle against Boston because you've got two classy coaches with good defensive sense, and that's one of their emphasis. Bernstein. McHale with the follow away. Seattle ball. Bailey with it. Here comes VJ. See if they try to push it up now. Bradley trying to pull the charge. James Bailey knocked away by McHale. Nice play. Robey with it. Better find a guard. He finally does. Henderson.
Outside. 32 heads.
Calling a foul on Fred Brown.
That's a very tough call because Rick Robey stuck his rather large posterior out, and it's like trying to run around a tree.
In fact, he screened him with his side rather than with his the front.
But you made a good comment here, Don, that their defense is very tough.
6:30 remaining, second quarter. 34 all. Stay with us. We're coming to you from the Coliseum. Couple familiar names not here for Boston. Reserve guard M.L. Carr, who suffered a serious bruise in his lower right leg against Los Angeles, and Chris Ford strained some knee ligaments, and he has gone home as well. So neither one of them are along with the Celtics on this trip. A long trip. They left. See, they played Monday was the first time. It's basically a 10-day trip.
Right.
Talking with Casey Jones. That's tough this early in the season.
Sure is. One thing I was going to mention is that defense wins you ball games. I don't care what team sport you're playing, and it's got to be constant. Your defense has got to be constant because, especially in basketball, there are going to be nights that you won't be able to throw one in the Pacific Ocean if you were standing on the shore.
Well, that was a great lob by Bernstein. The first shot not going, of course, but the second one did. McHale getting two. That puts Boston up by 2. 6:13 remaining in the first half. BJ against Bradley. They post Donaldson up high against Robey. Bailey with the open jumper.
And that's what JB's got to do, because he is a very good shooter when he gets the ball and squares up.
I think many people think drive as soon as he gets the ball. In that case, it's got to help him. Henderson, his 4th point of the night.
And give him the wide open shot. One thing we're trying to do with Boston that they did with LA is we're trying to keep their postmen out high.
Brains against McHale. Bailey again. Bradley the rebound, a big strong guard. Quickly, look at this. They bring it up to Henderson right away. Cross court to Bernstein, takes the jumper over Brains. Donaldson mistimes it. Boston comes up with it. McHale. James had the position that time, though.
He did, and we didn't really check off the other man, though.
Robey. There's the pick. Donaldson against Bernstein. And nothing but Seattle fresh air on that one.
I'll tell you, when Bernstein, McHale, or Robey set a pick on you, you've been picked. And you've really got to do a good job. You've got to chase the man, or you've got to try to suck up and get over the top of the pick.
Armand Hill checking in at the guard position, replacing Fred Brown. Hill and Johnson at the guards. Brains at high post. BJ going through, gets the ball against Bradley. I think BJ could probably beat him any day of the week if he wanted to inside. Bailey with a turnaround, bangs it. Brains trying to tip it in. Here come the Celtics. McHale under the baseline. Robey against Donaldson. Boy, gets around him nicely. Nice shot.
Robey is very, very tough right at the basket with either hand.
Robey with 4 points now. Boston moving out to a 4-point lead, 40-36. Two excellent ball teams playing tonight. Awfully good basketball for exhibition play. Bailey pumps once. There's the drive. And we've got the foul on Boston.
James did a good job that time of catching the ball, showing shot, and then taking to the basket and avoiding the charge. I think we've got it right here.
Rick Robey
comes over, but now James kind of goes to the side to avoid the charge, and they call the block.
Usually the driver will get the benefit of the doubt if he shows any kind of change in course, doesn't he?
That's right. That's right. One thing I was going to comment, last time down the court, Danny Brains was up inside for the tip, and he got some pressure on the hip, and there was no loose ball call. And I'll tell you, we got to get some of those.
4 points for Bailey. 40-37 Boston. Oh, they go for the lob against Bradley. Loose ball, it's on Bradley. Pushing off, trying to pick up that lob. It's his 4th foul here in only the 2nd quarter.
I would say that was a questionable call, but one that I wouldn't
argue with. They've got another man called George Morrow. Did you get to see him play in Los Angeles at all? They say he's another Paul Silas as far as rebounding and positioning.
Well, he went to Creighton. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But I did see George Morrow play in college a few times, and very big, strong, physical player.
Maybe we'll get a chance to see him later on. In the meantime, Vinnie Johnson. Seattle back within 2. 4 minutes left in the quarter. Bradley inside, tall timber. They give it to Robey on the foul line. Simple foul shot that time as he picks up his 5th and 6th points.
And Robey really not a very good shooter, because I think he's shooting like 54% from the free throw line.
Brains forced it a bit. Oh boy, the burn. Bradley.
There again, our guard got caught inside, and they got an easy one.
Simple positioning.
Pretty high percentage shot.
I don't see Seattle running that offense now like they were in the earlier part of the game.
No, we're not, but we did pick up a 5th foul on Charles Bradley right there.
That's the big one. Coach Fitch doesn't seem concerned. Leave him in.
Well, we haven't seen Tracy Jackson yet. We haven't seen John Johnson from the University of Michigan. Both those guys are about the same type of player. Not great ball handlers, very good shooters.
Sonics having a tough time on the old charity line tonight. Yeah, they got it. 44-39. 3.5 minutes, 2nd quarter. Lonnie Shelton preparing to come in again. They post. Henderson down to the baseline against BJ. Short, loose ball. Vinny comes up with a great rebound. Meantime, he can't hold on. No foul. Robey.
Well, I think what happened right there is that the, excuse me, the back official was blocked, and it was the lead official's call, and he didn't see the play.
Rooney wasn't there. Brains with it. Hill. Now he simply loses control. It'll be Bradley going all the way home on this one. Oh, he blew it.
Big break, big break.
And BJ coming up with a rebound. That's a great point of hustle. Bailey. Lid on the thing. Long pass again down to Bradley. Some help this time. Henderson, Donaldson. Lenny Wilkins shouting double, wanting to play a run. Brains. Can't buy a hoop right now.
Right now, we're just going up and down the court with them, Don, and we're not getting any good shots, and they're getting a lot of good shots.
2.5 minutes left. Not too terribly productive for either side.
Very good call by Lenny. So settle down. We're going to run the double now. We're going to try to get a good shot off it.
I'm on Hill. Donaldson trying to keep it alive. Robey comes up with it, though. McHale waits for help. 2 minutes. 46-39. Biggest lead for Boston so far. Rebound, 2 Sonics. Donaldson finally gets it. Fred Brown will be checking in with Lonnie Shelton in just a moment if they can get in here in the first half. Johnson. Calling it a block on Boston.
Here it is. Let's take a look at this right now, because here goes Vinny down the lane. Okay, now he takes off right there, and as you can see, Robey's still moving. He did not establish position, and I'll tell you, in the NBA, you've got, once the man makes his move, you've got to let him go through with it.
Boy, how do you compare that one with the one they called on Gus Williams earlier in the ball game? Remember that? Brandon?
Well, I'd hate to comment.
No, don't do it. 1:42 remaining now in the second quarter. Seattle within 6, 46-40. Vinny started over 60 games last year. And more frustration on the foul line for VJ. Minute 30 left. Looking inside. Out to the corner. Henderson. 18-footer. It'll be green
Again,
ball.
Don, we make him take a bad shot or a forced shot. Maybe not a bad shot, but a forced shot with some pressure. He doesn't hit anything, and yet we don't secure the rebound, and so they've got the ball out of bounds. It's just like when somebody blocks a shot and it goes out of bounds and they retain position. It really doesn't do you any good. You've got to get the ball.
You saw Donaldson come back into the ball game. Up, knocks the ball loose.
That's what James got to do. He's got to become dominant.
Shot clock, no good, no good. James Donaldson, the key to that play. Outstanding. Minute 15. Seattle could move within 4 on this play. Down to minute 5, Shelton with it. Look inside to Donaldson. Jumper, in and out. Fred Brown.
Nice job by Freddie right there.
Under a minute. 46-42. Boston.
But again, another strong move by James, and that's what he's got to do.
He'll get respect if he keeps that up. Going to Robey, looks for somebody to break. Takes him once. Lonnie Shelton. They're going to give it to Boston.
I think they're going to give it to Boston, and I'll tell you, Robey made a good crossover move, except for one thing. He moved his pivot foot about a foot, and it should have been traveling.
10 on the clock, the defense knocked the ball out.
You heard that. Bill Simmons, the referee, saying he wants 10 seconds on the shot clock.
24 seconds, it hit the backboard. 24.
Okay, it hit the backboard, so now Wally Rooney is saying that it hit the backboard so they get a full 24 seconds. And with 43 seconds left in the half, that's critical. I think it did hit the board.
Backboard. Good
Brains
job by
knocked
Danny
it loose.
Brains, knocked the ball loose right there. Now,
Who are they going to give it to? Seattle ball. Brains didn't touch it a second time. Good point, though.
we needed to capitalize on that right there. Now we've got to get a good shot. 35 seconds.
35 seconds, 22 on the shot clock. Shelton. You hear Lenny yelling, move. Donaldson comes up with a check by McHale.
Well,
nice play.
McHale made the block. because of one reason. Lonnie hit him, and then he stood. Lonnie had made a basket cut, then McHale could not have gone over and helped out on Donaldson.
Right, wouldn't have been there. Down to 12 seconds. 10 on the shot clock. 7, 6. Henderson, obviously, they go to Robey. He'll take the jumper himself, and he gets it. 1 second, that'll do it. 48-42, halftime. Boston with the lead by 6. After all Seattle early in the first quarter, then Boston came back, and really with their second 5, they played some awfully good basketball. Their young people going against some of the younger people for Seattle.
Well, I'll tell you, their second 5 is as good as a lot of people's first 5 in this league. And Boston, you know, why do you think they won the NBA championship last year? They're a solid basketball team. You know, 1 through 10 right now. How much better they'll be when Ford, when ML come back, you know, that remains to be seen. If they get Danny Ainge away from Toronto, I don't really know if I want to play him.
And we will talk about that and much more later on. Halftime, SuperSonics 42. Back in a moment. It's halftime here at the Coliseum. I'm Don Poyer, along with Sonics assistant coach and head scout Dave Harshman. 48-42, Boston leading Seattle. Dave, some incredible stats here, basically in the rebounding.
Well, yeah, they out-rebounded. The rebounds in the first quarter were 11 apiece. The second quarter were 19-11 for Boston. And Larry Bird had 5 offensive rebounds. Kevin McHale had 3 offensive rebounds. They had 13 offensive rebounds and 17 defensive rebounds, which is very, very even. We had 5 offensive rebounds and 17 defensive rebounds. Eric Fernston comes off the bench and gets 7 rebounds all in the second quarter.
Isn't that incredible?
We can't do that. And we also shot 4 for 17, which is 23%. And you're not going to beat anybody. I don't care who you're playing when you shoot that type.
And they didn't shoot all that well at 41%, but look at the rebounds again. Played so well there. So you could almost say the first quarter, when you had the starting 5s in there, Seattle had the edge. Then with Boston with the second 5 coming in, they had the edge.
Right. And you'll look at Larry Bird shooting 1 for 9, and I'll tell you, I don't think he scored the first half at Los Angeles, if my memory is correct. And the second half, I think he had 18, and he had 18 for the ball game. So, you know,
it'll snow in Palm Springs before he goes 2 halves without being effective.
That's for sure.
Offensively.
I think we may look to get a little more offensive output out of Jack. Jack was 2 for 3. Jack's got to see the ball more. Jack's got to do a job in terms of bringing Parish away from the basket and hitting his shot. And Jack's pretty darn good at putting the ball on the floor and going by people, too.
Bill Simmons, one of the referees. As far as the people starting in the second half for Boston, looks like they're regular starters. Brandon, be it one of the guards, Larry Bird, at a forward, along with Cedric Maxwell, Archibald, and Brandon at guard, as I said, and Robert Parish will be in the pivot. For the Sonics, Hanslick and Williams at the guards, Wally Walker, Lonnie Shelton at the forwards, and Mr. Jack Sikma at center. Boston will inbound the ball. 48-42, here we go. Archibald with it. Remember now, Seattle seemed to play a little bit better ball in the first quarter when it was starting 5s against each other. If there's any significance to that. There's Bird against Wally. Sikma tips it, and Hanslick controls. From the Sonics, they want to push it up as quickly as they can. Williams has room down to the baseline, takes the fadeaway jumper, banks it, no good.
Tough shot.
Sikma keeps wrestling for it. Good job by Sikma as he comes out with the ball. Hanslick to the baseline. A lot of green jerseys around there. Archibald quickly down to Bird in the corner, looks inside, then takes the shot himself. How many times have we seen that, especially in postseason play, as Archibald knocks it out of bounds, almost comes up with the steal.
Rather nonchalant on the inbounds pass.
Sikma.
I think it's really important that we get out of the gate and get our transition game established.
Trying to go back door, and Cornbread Maxwell knocks it out of bounds. I look at Cornbread and think of that 1977 NCAA tournament when he was playing for UNC Charlotte. Really stole the show. Been a starter for Boston.
And I think it really made him because he was a relative unknown until then.
Great play by Boston there. Great exchange on defense. Maxwell
Great
Knocked
play
away.
by Lonnie.
Lonnie
Great block.
Shelton.
Now we get some transition. We've got to score.
Gus against the Bird. Forces it up. What a
Great
shot.
play by Gus Williams.
Did he
That's
pump
why
it?
he's as good as there is in this game.
Hanslick with a steal. Here come the Sonics. Gus with it. Goes up with the right hand. Oh!
That's what we've got to have right now. We're getting the crowd up. We're getting themselves involved in the basketball game, and that's what we've got to do.
Gus Williams with a marvelous shot. He has 12 points now. (50-46). Boston still holding on to that lead. Parish, Bird. Good help by Sikma in the meantime. Lonnie helps on Parish, but gets the foul.
What we had there is basically they tried to post Maxwell. They couldn't hit him. He got out of there. Bird took the ball to the hole, and Jack came over to help. Here he is. Jack goes to double team, and now Lonnie has to come over and try to pick up Parish going to the basket. And we got decent rotation, but Lonnie got there late.
Lonnie a little shaken up on the play. Lonnie in the meantime wants to talk with Bill Hanslick coming over. 22nd timeout. It looks like they took a 22nd timeout.
I think Lonnie got a blow in the stomach there. Maybe knocked the wind out of him.
Could see the knee coming towards the midsection when he was trying to drive it in. Parish, that is.
Great job by Frank Furtado, and I'll tell you one thing. He is, if he's not the best trainer in the NBA, I'd like to see the guy who's on top.
Robert Parish on the foul line. It's his 9th point.
Very underrated player. Maybe the key to Boston.
Well, you talk about chemistry. There's a man that emerged as soon as he went to Boston. He was just another, not mediocre, but struggling center, average center back in Golden State. Then he came out to Boston and did very well.
I don't know what
and
they
is doing
did.
well.
They got Robert to play to his potential, and you know that was the knock on him in college. You know the guy's always had great ability.
Lonnie Shelton won't give it to him. Fouls on Larry Bird.
Awfully quick on the call right there. Great play, example of Lonnie using his quickness.
That's Bird's first foul.
Here he is. Great first step.
And you hear the cheering in the background as Jack Sikma cans one from the left side along the baseline. Brandon quickly down court along with Archibald. Bird gives a pick to Maxwell. Brandon. Bird, great rebound. Didn't have the position, but right place at the right time again.
Right, and we've done a good job of switching on Bird and Maxwell earlier.
They forced that. Forced that shot. Didn't have control of it.
Pressure on him right now, Don, and that's very important.
Williams against Archibald down on the baseline.
Tough shot, I'll tell you.
Seattle within
my
2.
Team any day.
52-50. Seattle now creeping back in with Boston. Archibald got the foul on Bill Hanslick.
There again, it's not Bill's inexperience, it's Bill's lack of foot movement, and he reached, and anytime you reach, you're going to get called.
It's 4 fouls now on Bill. Nate Archibald, 5th in the NBA in assists last year.
You know, it's taken Tiny a couple years to come back from that injury, and he's really, I think, all the way back now. He did an excellent job last year. I think at times he may tend, like all what you call pointer lead guards, to force the play a little, but he's got himself under control.
Pressure again by Archibald as Gus brings it up court. Maxwell. Wally Walker did a good job of getting down court that time, along with Sikma. Side to Parish as they break. Looks. A lot of white jerseys. Forces it up. Good defense by the Sonics.
Good pressure by Jack right then.
Parish. And it's good, and he is fouled. Fouls on Lonnie Shelton. Boy, that's great play by Parish. Even though he forced the first one, he came back.
Well, there again, we have part of the problem tonight is we make them take a bad shot. We have pretty good pressure the first time, and we don't box out, and they get a second opportunity.
It's Lonnie's 3rd foul tonight. 8:50 remaining in the 3rd quarter, with Boston leading 56-50, and could add to that lead here with Maxwell on the line. 57-50. Hanslick now across against John Brandon. Very little playing time for Brandon so far, but he's played a lot tonight.
There's Jack again. Now that's 2 straight jump shots because we've got Jack popping out, facing up, and shooting the ball, which he does very, very well.
Larry Bird. Sikma, good rebound, good position. Looking down court, Williams. Walker. Got a piece of it, was Maxwell, and then he gets the rebound.
Wally took the ball right into the defense that time, and then Maxwell got a piece of it.
Sikma steals the ball. They're going to call a foul before that. Boy, the Sonics are unhappy about it.
What I think they called Jack for was kicking the ball.
Foot. Okay, it's not a foul. I thought that looked like he stopped it with his right foot. And they'll give him 24 seconds. 57-52, 5-point lead, Boston. Third quarter. Now they got Hanslick against the Bird. And another foul on Hanslick. Bill with 5 now and getting off.
I'll tell you one thing, Bill's not going to get a break whether he fouled or not.
Because he's going against a superstar for one thing. That's exactly right.
Boy, tough to tell right there.
Mark Radford from Oregon State checking in for Bill. But you're exactly right. That's a point that hasn't been talked about that much, Dave. And you go against a superstar, he's going to get the benefit of the doubt. 9 times out of 10. 57-52. Bird on the baseline. Boston in the lead. And Robert Parish. Hey, that 54% field goal percentage is pretty accurate for that young man.
Well, what happened? We dropped back to help. Bird popped out, and he finally opened man, and that's what he's excellent at that.
Boston getting physical now. Sikma, front of the iron. Here comes Archibald. Parish down quickly, one of the first people down there for Boston. Archibald. Bradford trying to front Brandon. Inside, Parish. A little too far outside for him. Archibald down to Bird. Nice pass. Quickly inside. Look at the passing. Brandon can't do it. Good defense by the Sonics in that case. Getting a piece of that cripple. Williams over to Mark Radford. First shot of the night.
He had to take the shot, even though he just came in the ball game, but Gus did an excellent job of pushing it up and hitting Mark as he was open.
That's right. 59-52. Boston. Goes Parish. Shelton with a rebound. But look at Bird. Almost knocked it loose.
Tough shot again, Jack. Good pressure.
And the hand up. Williams with lots of company. Lonnie fakes out.
Nice
Bird
job.
has the jumper. Wasn't that a dandy? Wally Walker with a rebound. Williams gets a pick from Sikma. Looks for the give and go. Not there. Shelton. Bird knocks it out of bounds. Boy, it's like beating your head against the wall, isn't it?
Larry Bird continues to make play after play after play.
We've got a timeout on the court. Boston leading 59-52 here in the Coliseum at Seattle Center. Stay with us for much more action. Coming up, you're going to see some vintage Gus Williams. Matter of fact, what a marvelous drive he made there. This is one of the great shots.
Now here he is going baseline. He gets around Bird and he goes up and amongst those big trees, but watch him protect the ball with his body. Great, what I call a body balance shot.
Air control in the air. By the way, for tomorrow night and Saturday night's broadcast, as we go against Portland and Boston again up in Vancouver, Bernie Fryer will be our color man. He's sitting in as Dave Harshman goes back to do his regular duties as assistant coach and head scout. Bernie, of course, played for Portland. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Bernie, former NBA player, of course, from Port Angeles. Played in Portland, was a referee in the NBA. Be nice to have him with us. Walker.
Nice play
Good
by
movement.
Wally is a great shooter off the dribble, and that's what we've got to do. We've got to get some movement. That was his shot.
Tracy Jackson now into the ball game for Boston, along with Brandon now at the guards. He's for Brandon.
Called loose ball foul on Mark Radford right there on the lob play. Back pick by Jackson on Bird's man, and we tried to switch it.
Tracy Jackson, of course, out of Notre Dame.
Very good shooter.
Played with Bill Hanslick, along with Kelly Tripucka. Oh, that was quite a team.
Jackson played 26 minutes against the Lakers the other evening, and he shot the ball extremely well. I think he had 10 points. And in comparing him and Charles Bradley, both being rookies, I would say that he's much more offensive-minded in terms of looking for the shot, whereas Bradley will take the ball to the hole, Bradley being a much more physical player.
Jackson a better outside shooter. He's known for that. Yeah. 61-54. Celtics up again by 7. Bradford against Jackson. Didn't have to change his colors at all, of course, coming from Notre Dame. Look for the back door to Shelton. Bird is wise to it. Now Shelton against Bird. Good pump. Can't get it. 5:49.
Lenny a little right there, wanted the call.
Yeah. Archibald setting things up. Bird outside. Now here we go to Parish. We've seen this many times. As they split, he looks inside. Jackson. Gus Williams. Look at that. Bird kept it alive.
Great job of cutting Bird off the board, and they had the mismatch. They had Gus checking Bird, and Gus
wanted the foul too. Gus yelling at Bill Simmons right now, saying he wanted the foul. The way Bird was slapping it around underneath. Foul on Jackson in the meantime.
It appears that
first foul on him.
They're going to protect Larry Bird this evening.
Evidently.
Here's Mark putting the ball. Look at Jackson right there. Grab him right there. Obvious foul.
Boy, it was clear on the other end, though, that Bird took a swing and didn't get this basketball. Shot no good. Foul on Parish. It's his third foul. And the third team foul here in the third quarter.
5 team fouls on us and putting Boston. You got it right there.
Look at that. No foul. And Bird with the rebound.
There goes Parish. Robert Parish runs as well as any 7-foot-plus person in the world.
Sikma stayed right with him on that occasion. 5 minutes remaining. Third quarter. Archibald drives, and they're going to count it.
Well, you'll see it here. They call a block on Mark Bradford, and it's a foul. Granted, Mark's not there. But where's the consistency in the play on Brandon in the first half when they called the charge on Gus? Mark was in much better position. He had his body in front, but he was still moving.
63-54. A little frustration now for the Sonics. Some calls we have noticed have been questionable.
Well, the one thing you can't do now is you can't let the officials get to you and take you out of your game. You've got to keep chipping. And remember, the clock is a big factor in pro basketball. People sometimes forget that. Somebody's got to shoot the ball every 24 seconds.
Archibald averaging 15 points last half of the season last year. He really came through. And now we got a foul on the pressure by Boston on Tracy Jackson. Well, there's a rookie now.
Well, what happened too is after a made free throw, they went into a trap. Full court trap. Bird came over to trap the ball, and they're trapping on an inexperienced rookie, Mark Bradford. Smart play, smart basketball play.
10-point lead for Boston. Williams to Walker, looking inside. Sikma looks to Radford. Inside, Lonnie Shelton. Great play.
Great pass by Jack. Great cut by Lonnie.
He put the ball in the right place, too. He could have led Lonnie, but I think the ball would have been slapped away in that case.
Put it away from the defense.
Exactly, away. 4.5 minutes, third quarter. Parish trying to do some razzle-dazzle on Jack. Can't do it. Rebound, Walker out.
Good job. Wally cut Bird off the boards that time.
Here's the race. Behind the back. Cornbread got there in time to make things difficult for Gus.
Cornbread did a good job of getting back and making Gus adjust his shot and shoot a different shot than he really wanted to.
And he wants to play, says you got to run something right now.
We'll run a diagonal right here.
Got the shot, has the blocking. Sikma, good rebound. Jack takes it himself.
Jack working very, very hard, hits the outside jumper. Jack really doing a good job right now. And we had the shot we wanted from Wally, too. It just didn't go down.
10 points for Jack now. Jack Sikma with 10. Inside ball nearly knocked away. Jackson lays it off over to Cornbread. He forces it up. Oh, my goodness.
Here again,
they're going to call it on
I hope we caught it. Jack established tremendous defensive position with his hands straight up in the air, and one of my favorite expressions when I was coaching is, where is a man supposed to go? Out of the gym?
Yeah,
he's
look at
right
him straight
there.
up.
He's right there.
Nevertheless, Maxwell on the foul line, extending that lead, 65-58.
To me, that's penalizing somebody for good defense and giving somebody 2 free throws when he hasn't earned them.
It's different when you don't have your hands straight up, too, but he was straight up and down. 66-58. 3:45, third quarter. Sonics trying to get something going now against the world champions.
Wally Walker. Because we're down 8, we were only down 6.
Look for a possible lob to Radford. Williams inside to Walker against Maxwell. Pumps it up.
Move by Wally. Great head and shoulder fake by Wally. Got Cornbread to commit himself and then went up with a shot.
10 points for the Virginia graduate. Trying to drive, lay it off to Parish.
Good job by Maxwell taking the ball out to Parish for the jump shot.
I find seldom a big man like that with such great touch. Just lays it up there. Gus laying it up. He can't buy it this time. It goes, and it counts.
Great job. I don't know who they're going to give the basket to, but we've had both Wally and Jack up there.
It's a 4th foul on Parish in the meantime. We'll have to wait for, evidently, to Wally Walker. You decide at home.
Here's the shot by Gus. Gets the shot off over him. There's Wally. I think they may have given it to Wally.
Yeah.
Wally was up there.
And he's now on the foul line.
Big play, big play.
68-63. Seattle now within 5. Just under the 3-minute mark here in the Coliseum in Seattle Center. 3rd exhibition game of the year.
Well,
and it goes out of bounds.
This may be exhibition, but this is as good as it gets. Both teams are going at it head up, playing very, very intently. And I think if somebody had a ticket and didn't come to the game tonight, they're really missing out on a quality show.
We understand there were problems of people trying to get down to the Kingdom to buy tickets for tonight's game. Of course, the Rolling Stones were performing, and, well, let's face it, it was like a zoo down there, and it was hard for the basketball fan to get down to buy a ticket in order to come to tonight's game. They had something like 4,000 tickets available to buy as a walk-up fan tonight, but
that's really unfortunate. And I told Gus before the game, I said I'd pay $16.50 to come and see you, Gus, over Mick Jagger. So I had to make him feel good.
Well, there's 2 of us. I think.
We get a shot here. Here's Jack in the post, and here's Lonnie making the curl cut. And look at him, he throws the ball away from the defense. And Lonnie does a great job of positioning in his body so that he's got Bird on his hip, lays the ball in the hole.
That was a great job by Lonnie. Just fine execution. Any big centers at home, high school or junior high, that's a great lesson there. Some coaches say that you should never bounce the ball on a bounce pass inside the key. I know some coaches have felt that way in the past.
I think it's really tough because
it was necessary.
I've always thought it's important to bounce the ball in the post, and the reason I say that is because most people in the post play kind of what I call up in the stratosphere because they're so big. So now if the defensive man is playing you what I call on top, then you ask for the ball low and away, and it's only natural. But you've got to know when you can and when you cannot use the bounce pass.
We've talked about some of the new rules as you watch the Sonic huddle as they prepare for the last few minutes now in the 3rd quarter. One of the new rules is that the official scorer right at the center court must wear a baseball cap. Bill Hold'em in this case for all Sonic home games. They must wear a cap, and then when you report to come into the game, you must have your sweats off. When you report, you can't go out there and sit there with your sweats, and you must be in a box, right?
Box there. I think it's 8 feet long, and you've got to be there, or they will not let you in.
Exactly. We'll see if we can show you that a little later on. 2:49, 3rd quarter. Here come the Sonics. Mark Radford handling the ball for Seattle.
Full court pressure there by Boston, just to make us work, just to make us use the clock.
That's vintage Boston, a trademark. Sikma had the shot. Now he puts it up. Tipped by Sonic. Can't do it. It was Gus inside. Comes up with the ball.
Jack shoots the ball, and he's got, Parish doing chin-ups in his arms. We need those calls.
Shelton can't buy it. Lenny is livid about that. I can't say that I blame him.
I think we're not asking for anything extra. We're just asking for parity. We want the same call both ends of the floor.
Maxwell with it against Shelton. 2:10, 3rd quarter. Bird.
Good job by Mark Radford. Good job by cutting out Tracy Jackson.
Here comes Gus. Foot brace against Bird now. Forces it, gets it. And no foul.
Great. I'll tell you, Gus Williams is as good as you're going to see, folks.
Seattle within 3, 68-65 as we near the end of the 3rd quarter. It's Boston now that's kind of slowing it down, being a little more deliberate with the ball.
I get chills when I see a play like that.
Oh, isn't that marvelous? That's worth $16.50 alone. Parish Good pressure by
Good
Shelton.
pressure by Lonnie. Good pressure. That's the thing. You
Sikma.
get pressure on the ball, and you're going to make him take shots.
We're seeing pressure. We're moving the ball up well, and we're getting position on the rebounds. Gus on the baseline. Sikma fights for it. Shelton's still going to check him.
Good job by Lonnie and not letting Parish just outlet the ball so easily.
That time they forced it. Tracy able to get it out. Bird can't lay it up. Puts up in a second shot in again. Larry Bird.
How many opportunities? We gave him 3 opportunities right then, and we just can't do that.
Something about Bird, too, is when he shoots, he comes down in rebound position. A lot of guys fall out of position, but he's there. Bad pass, or in that case, Lonnie just couldn't hold on to it.
that time.
Exactly. Parish.
And there's what I talked about earlier. 7 foot, can run up and down the floor like that. And, you know, it's back to a 7-point lead when it could have been very easily been down to a 3.
18 points now from Parish. We near the 45-second mark. Seattle down by 7 as Radford puts it up. Sikma.
Good job by Jack.
And the foul is drawn.
Jack did what any basketball player is taught. His man went to help. He went to the board. Mark got the ball up early. Here he is. Mark got the ball up early over Parish. As Parish came to help, Jack's there for the rebound dunk.
And that is 5 fouls on 0-0. 72-67.
I don't know about you, Don, but you can just feel when we pick the tempo up.
Exactly. And you can see Boston slowing down a little bit, a little more deliberate. Then all of a sudden, they started to push it too.
Right. And I don't think I have enough words in my vocabulary to describe Gus Williams because he is truly one of the great players in the game.
72-68. Seattle trailing by 4. Jackson from Notre Dame down to the baseline. Sikma. Boy, what a battle between those two. Gus almost gets it. Archibald. Shot clock down to 6. The turnaround lays it off.
Good
Sikma
job.
in position.
Pressured by Wally right there. Good job. We got the ball out.
Shelton in good position as well. Gus nearly loses control. Takes the ball away. Jumper.
Great job by Gus. Big basket. Big basket.
72-70. 9 seconds. Third quarter.
Good pressure by Gus.
I want to see now if Lenny's going to keep his regular people in there or if he'll make the change at the end of the quarter. There's the horn ending the third quarter. Seattle putting together some good magical basketball.
Very important right there because we made him hurry the shot, and they got a good shot, but it was rushed.
End of the third quarter here in the Coliseum. Seattle trailing by 2, 72-70. Stay with us. That good-looking guy with the baseball cap, Bill Oldham, the official scorer. New league rule, he must wear that cap, and then right in front of him, you see the box right there. That's where the substitute must report to, and he must not have his warm-ups on, except in the last 2 minutes of the half and the ball game, I believe, or maybe it's just the end of the ball game.
No, it's the last 2 minutes of the half and the ball game.
Okay,
now something going to be very interesting here. We're staying with the people, except for we have James Bailey in the ball game. We have Donaldson, and they brought 5 fresh people in. Well, 4, excuse me, because they have Tracy Jackson still in. But they brought fresh troops, and we're going to see if we can still continue to make a run at them.
I think Lenny might have liked the chemistry.
Okay, what we ran right there was what we call automatic, where Wally came up from the weak side, ran the back door, try to get an easy one.
Fourth quarter just beginning with Boston on top, 72-70. Lenny may have liked the chemistry of that 5. Let's see if he stays with it much longer. Jackson from the foul line. Well-run play, knocked loose by Donaldson. Jackson gets a second chance and gets it.
There again, the second chance. How many second chances, how many putbacks are we going to give him?
Ball knocked loose, this time Boston. Now Gus gets it. Comes up with a jumper, knocked loose by Bailey, who's back into the ball game. And there's a foul.
It's a tough shot, but at least we got the foul out of it. We got possession of the ball.
Here's a case, too, where Gus makes a mistake. He makes up for the mistake right away. Comes right back with a steal.
There's the end of the play and the foul.
Inside, Donaldson can't buy it.
Great job by Mark Radford.
Good job by the young man out of Oregon State. Wait for James Donaldson to come down so they can set up. 11 minutes remaining in the game.
The one nice thing about a rookie is he may make mistakes, but you know he's going to play hard.
See if that foul's on Robey or not. It is, as Donaldson tried to fight for position in the key. Third
James
foul
did
on
what he's
Robey.
got to do. He asserted himself. He made the baseline fake, and he came hard across the key. Something that Boston does very well.
The more Donaldson moves his feet, the better he looks, really. Gets mobile. Walker, Bernston got a piece of it. Good defense on that part, but here comes Gus with a steal. Bailey against Bernston.
Nice job by James. Nice job by James to draw the foul. Instead of going into the defense, he caused the defense to come into him, and what was all caused by Gus.
Bernston with a foul, his first. The thing I like is the fact you look in the eyes of the Sonics, and they're all really listening to Les and to Lenny, of course, yourself when you're there. They're listening, and their eyes show that they're trying to run exactly what he's telling them. It's not a case where a lot of NBA teams where you see it's 5 stars out there. They're working very hard at trying to be a pattern team out there with a chemistry.
I'll tell you, personally, I've seen games on national TV where, they show the huddle and 5 guys are looking into space someplace. But I'll tell you, our guys are very, very receptive. I think that's very important.
74-72. Sonics holding in tough. They trail by a couple. Robey against Donaldson. Boy, what a
good pressure. Good pressure by Donaldson on the shot.
Here comes Gus against Henderson. Oh, what a pass!
Pass by Gus Williams. Great play.
Oh.
Look at it here. The one hand off the dribble. It looked away, and there's Wally.
High ball
Great
game.
Play.
Back to live action. 10-20 remaining. Kevin McHale against Bailey. Oh, great shot on the sky.
They've thrown, literally thrown more balls up there that have bounced right for them.
You sound like a coach. Mark Radford on the baseline. Donaldson. Okay,
nice to have somebody think so.
Walker against Bernston. Takes him to the baseline. Too far. Bernston with an easy rebound. Williams up there. Oh, and Radford didn't see Gus.
We're there, though. We're there. We're playing the outlet pass. I tell you, Gus right now, he's lighting them up, folks.
I like the effort put on the part of Radford, too, coming in there, going for the ball.
Mark Radford causes some things to happen. He may not always make the right play, but he causes some things to happen.
They did that at Oregon State as well. McHale down to the baseline. Follow-away jumper. Still loose ball. Bailey quickly down to Radford.
That's got to count.
Nice play. It is.
Mark Radford, I don't know if we got that, but made a great hesitation. He got the ball. He made a quick hesitation or stutter step. And here he goes. And he hesitates, and then he explodes to the basket right here. A great play, great extension. And Mark does something that a lot of young guys watching should notice is he lays the ball on the glass, and then McHale touches it. And anytime he touches it after the ball's hit the glass, it's 2 points.
And that brings the Sonics into a tie with the Celtics. There are 2 great ways you can keep track of when and where the Sonics are playing. There's the beautiful Sonic schedule poster that'll look just great in your den, bedroom, or TV, or any kind of room in a house. It's free from Pepsi, and all you have to do is be one of the first 20,000 persons to the Sonics opener for the season against the Phoenix Suns, October 20th at the Kingdome. On your way into the game, you'll be given this beautiful schedule poster, free from Pepsi. And when you're walking around or at the office, you can keep track of the team schedule with the Sonics Pocket Schedule. Also free, all at Sears Automotive Centers. Be available within the next 2 weeks. Make your plans to stop by any Sears Automotive Center and pick one of those up. Tied up in a bow knot, 76 apiece with 9:39 remaining in the ball game. Here's
see if we've got a shot here, Lenny. Well, we were in tight, trying to see what they were going to diagram. One thing I was going to point out is that we really need to have a good fourth quarter, because against Los Angeles, we played great first and third quarters. Second and fourth quarters was a little tough, and I think, it was the first game. I don't know if it was jitters, but we got a little tired. Against Phoenix, it wasn't that much of an effort because we led from wire to wire, and yet we got tired in the fourth quarter. We've got to go out and establish ourselves right now, and look who we've got in the ball game. We've got James Donaldson, who's a second-year man. We've got Bailey, who's a third-year man, and we've got Radford, who's a rookie,
But Gus.
And we're doing, and Gus to lead him, and Wally with some experience out there. So if we can maintain where we are right now, or maybe pick up the lead, that'll really help.
We're all tied as we go into the waning moments of this game. 9:30 remaining. Tied at 76 apiece. Jackson with it. Robey against Donaldson. Got the hands up. Donaldson with a rebound.
Great job. There's Gus. James out in the break. There's
there
Gus.
He is.
We're going to count that one, folks.
Seattle back in the lead for the first time in quite a while. 78-76.
Great job by Donaldson at getting the ball out and Gus getting the over-the-top pass.
He located the man in both cases for Donaldson and Gus. Bernston against Walker. McHale. Good pressure by Bailey. Has to use the follow-away. Donaldson again. Oh. That time didn't see Henderson.
Good pressure in the shot by Radford.
Oh, there's the foul by Donaldson in the back. Pretty hard to disguise that.
Well, Robey got inside him right there. And the one thing about James is that, you know, James, we all know, is not tremendously quick to the ball. And Robey just happened to beat him to the ball right there.
So he's got to think position.
That's right. He's got to think position, use his body.
Also, he has only one foul right now, so he can afford to get pretty rough in there right now.
That's right. You know, what James has got to learn to do, when he goes in the ball game, the first guy that comes down the lane, he's got to knock him in about row Z. And tell him that that's his territory, and that's what's going to happen when you come in there. And you've got to give those kind of fouls.
So you set the mood immediately.
Exactly.
Danny Brains checking in now for Wally Walker.
Murray went to the ball very tough right there, almost took it right off the rim.
Sonics up by 1, 78-77. Gus still playing at guard, getting a lot of action here in the second half. Brains. Oh, what a move he just put onto it scores.
Great move, and he went back and rebounded it himself.
Now that's the thing you see in Bird, is the fact that he'll put up the shot and then not fall out of position. He's right there. Right. He knows where it could go. 8.5 minutes left.
Come on, come on, come on, come on.
I think Danny would have beaten Princeton to the basket, but Gus curled back out on the same side, so it was tough.
Henderson, a lot of quickness. Hand foul, looks like, on Henderson. Too much pressure on the hips of Gus. Second foul on Gerald Henderson.
Gus using his quickness.
Well, I'm glad we're playing Boston again here in just a couple of nights. It's fun to watch against these two teams against each other. Williams on the baseline. McHale looks down.
Good shot.
Henderson down there. Radford intercepts. Good defensive back in that case. Williams puts it up. It'll be Sonic ball.
Good job by James Bailey right there to get, maybe not inside, but at least get even with Robey and keep the ball alive, and Robey knocked it out of bounds. We retained possession. And that's a very important play. I know Gus is disappointed with himself. I think Lenny's really doing something smart right here. He's going to give Gus a blow. We're going to come back with Gus and Lonnie and Jack down the stretch.
Fred Brown now in for Gus. He'll be the floor captain along with Mark Radford at guard. They set it up. Comes over to the weak side. Looks for help. Brains with it. Good pressure defense by Boston. Side to Donaldson. Right-handed hook. No foul called. Robey.
Looked to me like Burns tried to take his arm off.
Ball knocked loose, and they'll call it a jump ball between Brains and Robey. In that case, I think Robey went a little out of control, trying to bring the ball up himself.
He did go a little out of control, and maybe not the smoothest play here, but
simple case, he should be hitting the guard.
With both Danny and Mark in there, you got two rookies, and like I don't want to be redundant, but rookies make a lot of mistakes, but they also hustle, and that's what you want.
Henderson controlling, gives to McHale. Jackson goes through. Who's he going to call it on? Evidently on Radford against Jackson as they went through in front of McHale. Third foul on Mark, and the second team foul.
Called Mark for the block, and he was trying to get position on Jackson.
Mark averaging about 3 points a game. Oh, long shot.
I hope he takes a lot of those.
Yeah.
Good outlet.
Fred looks inside. Donaldson setting up. Fred will take the long jumper himself. Way too long. And McHale comes up with a round ball.
Fred is a rhythm shooter, and when he feels it, you know, he's going to put it up, and he pretty much has the green light.
Oh,
but
you have to.
He just came in the ball game, so maybe not a great time to take that shot.
Donaldson.
What I call a sky rebound for James Donaldson. He's a tower of strength on the board right there. I'll tell you, he's played awfully well in the last 2-3 minute stretch.
And very little scoring for either team. Still 78-77, Seattle. Brains.
Great cut. There we ran the double. Danny Brains took his man baseline, cut over the top of the double screen, and we got the pass to him.
And I hate to be redundant, but we're still seeing two very well-disciplined teams tonight. Running patterns very well.
6.5 minutes to go, and it's 80-77.
That's right.
I'll tell you, this is not an exhibition game. This is like it's for the 7th game of the World Championship.
6.5 minutes.
That's double dribble.
Henderson helps to have Donaldson inside in that case. Seattle with a 3-point lead could make it 5. $10,216 people here tonight, here in the Coliseum as they go into Bailey. Going against McHale with a hook.
We needed it. We needed it. We finally got one to drop for us.
Got the touch. 10 points now for Bailey. Henderson lays it off to Robey. And they'll start over again on the offense. Shot clock down to 9.
Pretty good pressure right now. We're making them use the clock.
Jackson against Radford. Looks inside now, takes the jumper himself. There's Donaldson
Pressure
again.
Donaldson and Bailey both fighting for it.
Boy, Donaldson just owns the right
Here's
side of
what
the key
I mean
in there.
These guys have maintained the lead and even up the lead a little. We've got to do that.
82-77. Seattle on top. Bailey again, unattested.
Great play by Freddie Brown to get the ball to James. They switched and James had the small man on him and he got the ball before he could get weak side help.
Bernstein simply looked surprised, like he couldn't even come close to trying to defend the shooter in that case. Shot clock down to 10. Robey against Donaldson. Oh boy.
He didn't get it that
Had
time.
his eyes closed up. Shot. Throws up another one. Almost gets it. Fred Brown was traveling, but he drew the foul instead.
Well, he didn't get the first shot, but what Rick Robey did is he went back and got the rebound. That hurt us.
Fouls on Donaldson, only his second.
Here comes
Terry
Durod, who played at Detroit, and we played against Terry, and he's a great shooter. A great shooter with great range, great three-point shooter.
Terry Durod, 6'2". Robey. Durod, 6'2", third-year man. He started last year with Dallas. Signed a series of 10-day contracts with Boston. Managed to latch on. 84-79. Seattle holding on to the 5-point lead. We're under 5 minutes in tonight's contest at the Coliseum. Donaldson posting up high, waiting for some movement. Nobody going.
Good back
Finally
cut
to
by
Radford.
Mark Radford right there.
Stepped on the line. It'll be Boston ball.
I don't know what we had called there. I think we had called an outside, and we didn't get the people in position. That hurt because we needed to score that time down the floor.
15 turnovers now for Seattle, for what that's worth. 4:43.
In a game like this, that's awfully good.
Radford against Durod. Now to McHale.
Good pressure by Bailey. Good pressure.
Finally, they have to go to the outside shot.
Good job. There's Donaldson
again.
the ball again.
See what Fred does. He's got a lot of people behind him. He knows it. Now takes the jumper out in safe territory. Can't buy it. Robey comes up with the ball. Jim Brandon preparing to come in again for Boston. Henderson. Durod. Boy. I don't know if being a coach, I'd like to see
he just
that.
came off the bench. He's taken two
long
shots.
Yeah.
And lucky for us.
It's not the best way to impress your coach if you're trying to make a team, though. Radford with it. Here they go now with Donaldson with a right-handed hook. Little short. Gets his own rebound. He finally comes up with it. Brown, they look for the back door. Donaldson.
Great move. Great move. Good pick by James Bailey to free Donaldson coming hard to the ball. James is really starting to assert himself.
And that's some of the best mobility we've seen out of James, too.
Tough shot.
McHale.
We have pretty good pressure again.
86-81. Seattle can't get past that 5-point lead. 10 points now for Kevin McHale. Raines looks to Bailey. Now comes down to the baseline. James against McHale. Blocking foul on McHale. McHale with 3 fouls now. That's 5 team fouls on Boston.
James did a good job because he located and he went right now. He went right now and he drew the foul.
Jim Brandon coming back into the game now. Bernstein going out, Eric Bernstein.
I think they brought Brandon in as a small forward, and he gives you good defensive mobility.
James gets the first one.
These free throws are all important right now.
It's good pressure for them.
The first time I think we've been in the bonus ahead of Boston.
87-81. Seattle holding on to the lead. They look inside. Fred gets a piece of it, keeps it alive.
Freddie Brown plays very, very good position defense and really cuts the passing lanes off. Big play by Freddie.
Seattle wants a timeout. 2:56 remaining now in the ball game. 87-81. Seattle with that lead. And we'll be back with that final 2:56 in just a moment. Gus Williams leading the Sonics with 18 points here in tonight's game. Walker with 15. Robert Parish has 18 for Boston. Well, the closest man to him, who is still a Celtic, would be Robey, who has 13. James Bailey with 13 points. A bunch of those coming in, 7 of those? 9 of those coming in the fourth quarter.
I think it's really interesting to note who we have in the ball game right now, and we're still doing the job. We're executing. We're playing awfully hard. We're putting pressure on them defensively, and we're doing the job, giving them one shot predominantly.
Yeah. Got 2 rookies and a backup
I'm
center.
surprised to see Boston not come with Bird or somebody.
Okay, 2:54 remaining. Seattle's got that 6-point lead. Let's see what they do with it. Bailey with it. Forward. Lob into Brains. Has it if he can get to it.
Great job. Great pass by James Bailey. Super job.
Here it is.
Here it is. There's Danny Brains. Goes up and gets it with one hand and puts it home.
Fundamental basketball works at this level too. 2.5 minutes.
Good pressure by Brains on the wing. It didn't allow him to make the pass they wanted to make. Good pressure by Fred.
Boston needs to start shooting here pretty soon. Shot clock down to 5 as McHale goes up.
Good job by James Bailey right there.
No foul on Henderson, even though he got half of a pound of meat. Boy, see him slapping the ball that time on James. Could hear it from here. 2-minute mark. 2 minutes left in the game. Brown on the mismatch. It should go to James. Takes the shot.
Great job by Freddie. Freddie did a super job of setting them up. They all dropped back on Donaldson. He was open for the jump shot.
Plus, he knew he had Donaldson under there in rebound position over against the small man.
Exactly. Good pressure. Good pressure. Make him use the clock.
10-point lead for Seattle. 91-81. Minute 40 left. Inside, they go to Brandon. Brains in a good spot to knock the ball loose, and here's Fred. They'll walk it down court now with 1.5 minutes left. Seattle should have this one under control, and it has been an excellent exhibition ball game.
For those people that don't have the cable,
Bailey,
$120 to watch this type of basketball. You can't find entertainment like that.
There's no better way to sell it than to simply watch, and you can see what you can get for that price.
When you consider that some people might have paid $100 to go watch the Rolling Stones one time, you could pay $120 and watch the Celtics. I don't care if I watch them. I do care if I watch the Sonics, though. You know, and you can watch them 41 more times.
Timeout for Boston with Seattle's 10-point lead, 91-81. If you're a Super Channel subscriber before the end of the month, you'll be receiving the Sonic Super Channel Guide free of charge at your home. Each month's issue will include the complete broadcast schedule for the month, roster of each team, articles of interest on the Sonics and the Super Channel, and a very special lucky number that will give you a chance to claim valuable prizes during the season. The Sonic Super Channel Guide, free each month from the Sonics and your local cable company. John Johnson.
John Johnson right there. Hi, JJ.
He's running up to 3 to 5 miles a day now, getting that badly torn left Achilles tendon back into shape. Says he's way ahead of schedule and is so antsy to get back.
I'll tell you, if we continue to play this way. Okay, here's James. Good pump. Here comes Danny tough across the key. Brandon's fronting him. Danny spins off him. Good, great pass by Bailey, and very, very strong. Danny Brains has exceptional quickness to the ball, and then once he got it to the basket.
Yeah, those two people can't complain about tonight's action. This really has to be one of the finest exhibition games I've watched in many a year.
Well, I'm going to say it again. You just don't see any better. This is two of the finest teams that play the game of basketball.
Two of the finest franchises. That's what I like about it.
Exactly.
The philosophies are great between these two teams.
Class people. I'm looking across at Zolly, and you know he's just got a big grin on his face, and he's loving it.
Boston inbounds the ball. Minute 14 left. Henderson. Excuse me, Durod with it. Checking into the game, along with Henderson at guard.
Well,
try to get some
a tough play right then.
now.
I think it was a foul on Armand.
Right.
And the thing that he probably should have done when Durod started to go up with the shot was just to back off. We don't want to give him any more than we have to.
91-84. Heavy pressure. Hill. And there's Durod. Space ball.
lucky right there. Very, very lucky. See, James Donaldson grabbed the ball, took it out of bounds with one hand, and he almost threw the ball away, and then we did make the pass, and they got a hand on it and knocked it loose.
Had they made it, they would have been within 5. 91-84, minute 7 left. 91-84. Seattle on top, 107. Now full court, legitimate press. Fred with it. Should probably just isolate and let Hill bring it down by himself.
Well, right there, Armand did something that's very, very smart for young players to watch. He did not what we call fight pressure. They were, Terry Durod was really up into him, fighting him, and Armand picked the ball up and threw it to Fred Brown, who was open. And that's the thing you got to do, is you don't fight pressure.
Lenny really upset about that too, the lack of a foul called there. I guess they did call the foul finally, all right. That was on Brandon, hustling after Brains, trying to pick up the ball as he crashed into the bench and about a table full of cups. Danny Brains, Utah.
Good. We needed that free throw. Very important right now.
92-84.
Great
Bailey.
job by James Bailey. Great job. We got the putback. We needed that big. That's a big one right there, folks.
James Bailey with 15 points tonight. Henderson to Durod.
No, Durod's going to shoot it.
Look at him. Donaldson didn't do any good that time. Down to 40 seconds. 39, 38.
Sweet do, they call him.
Heavy pressure. Finally a foul on Durod. I admire the way Hill is keeping his composure, though.
Well,
he's getting into trouble, but he's keeping the composure.
They came and doubled him, and I don't know where our other 4 guys were, and I don't care. Here it is with the foul, but
trying to find somebody.
We all ran away, and you can't do that. You could be open standing in the corner, but if the guy can't get you the ball, it doesn't do you any good.
If he heads up. Down to the 35-second mark, and Seattle with an 8-point lead. Armand Hill fighting for a spot on the roster this year. Coming up from Atlanta last season.
Armand Hill came out of Princeton with the reputation as being a good ball handler and a very good defensive player. Played on the 1975 Pan American team.
Back to that 10-point lead for Seattle. Under the 32nd mark. Henderson looking for somebody. Finally Robey. He may shoot from out there now. Durod. Howitzer. 20 seconds.
Would you call that instant offense?
17.
Great job again by Armand. Great job. And great what we call pressure release by Fred Brown to come back and get the ball.
9 seconds. Howard Bogey, our statistician, just gave us a note saying that every Sonic has scored tonight. That's got to be a plus too. Everybody's contributed.
Super. Everybody contributed. That's right. And again, here we played the last quarter without Lonnie, without Jack, and very little with Gus.
In other words, you keep building up those resources, the people behind you, the troops. 97-88. Fred could get us back to that 8-point lead. Fred with 9 points so far. Make it 10.
How about a 10-point lead?
Okay.
I'll take it.
5 seconds. 4. See if Durod takes the last shot. More than likely. 3-point shot. Doesn't get it. That's the end of tonight's ball game. With the final score, Seattle 98, Boston 88. Tonight's game action on the Sonic Super Channel has been brought to you by Rainier Bank, the bank that's involved in the life, people, and business of Washington State. And by Nordstrom. Find yourself at Nordstrom. You'll like what you find. By Olympia Beer, featuring pure artesian brewing water, brought to you by the Artesians. And by Pacific Northwest Bell. Reach out and touch someone today. We'll be back with the Super Channel post-game show right after these messages.